like and subscribe. Follow Alifah Jaya Production. Thank you.
Chapter 4, Forging the Indomitable Frame. The forest beyond Azure Peak City lay shrouded in the cloak of night, illuminated only by slivers of moonlight piercing the storm cloud's fading veil. Ashen Veil pulled the reins of Swift Wind, his chestnut mare, halting her at the edge of a jagged crevice veiled by thorny brambles. The coarse laughter of bandits echoed through the trees, their swords and axes glinting like predatory fangs under the moon's pale glow. Their auras body refinement realm, layers 3 and 4 pressed against the air with crude killing intent, drawn to the faint shimmer of the spatial ring on Ashen's finger, pulsing with the treasures he'd reclaimed from his secret vault. A chill breeze swept across Ashen's face, carrying the damp scent of earth and sodden leaves. This forest was no haven, spirit beasts like shadow fang wolves or venomous grove serpents prowled its depths, but tonight, the threat was human. The bandits, members of the notorious Black Fang crew, had likely tracked Swiftwind's hoofprints since Ashen and Lily fled Azure Peak City. The spatial ring, a rare artifact capable of storing vast wealth, emitted a subtle aura that Ashen's nascent cultivation couldn't fully mask. Within it lay thousands of spirit stones, rare herbs, and gold coins, his lifeline for the journey to Crimson Gorge City, where the clan comparison offered a chance to rise anew. "Lily, dismount and hide behind that boulder," Ashen whispered, gently helping his sister off the horse. Lily's small frame trembled from the cold and the weight of their escape, but her eyes held steadfast trust. Ashen draped his tattered cloak over her, shielding her from the biting wind. "Stay silent, no matter what happens. If I don't return, head east to the river and follow it to Crimson Gorge City. You know the path." Lily nodded, her 12-year-old eyes glistening with fear yet unwavering resolve. "Be careful, brother," she whispered, clutching the jade pendant their mother had left her, a faint protective charm, their only keepsake from a woman the Lin clan claimed died of illness. Ashen had never believed their lies. Lily slipped behind a moss-covered boulder, her small form vanishing into the shadows, her breaths barely audible. Ashen drew a deep breath, feeling the crimson forge pulse in his dantian like a second heart ablaze. The ancient cauldron had saved him from the crippling venom of eternal night, purging the poison and forging new meridians stronger than before. Yet, at the first layer of the body refinement realm, his combat prowess was untested beyond the shadow fang wolf. The bandits' heavy steps grew louder, their laughter a taunt to his fragile strength. "You've guided me well, spirit of the forge," Ashen said mentally, his hand gripping the damp soil. "But I don't know your true name. What should I call you?" A soft, feminine laugh echoed in his mind, warm yet heavy with ancient wisdom. "In life, I was Yan Mei, a forge mistress from an era when the Crimson Forge was crafted by a fire deity. You've called me Ember, but from now on, I am Yan Mei." "Focus, Ashen, these bandits are strong but undisciplined. Use the Crimson Devouring formation, as you did against the wolf. Your first layer can prevail if you're cunning. Save your energy for the second stage of the primal manifestation body technique and for the clan comparison in Crimson Gorge City, where you'll need every spark of power." Ashen nodded, channeling the Crimson Forge's crimson energy into the ground. He visualized the primal fire runes Yan Mei had taught him, symbols flowing like veins of molten blood. The energy surged beneath the earth, weaving an invisible web of fiery chains around the bandits' feet. The runes glowed faintly, nearly undetectable in the dark, waiting for their prey. The bandit leader, a burly man with a jagged scar across his face, stumbled, his axe clattering as his spiritual energy drained into Ashen's meridians like water into a parched well. The sensation was exhilarating. The bandit's crude energy, purified by the Crimson Forge, enriched his spiritual furnace. "What sorcery is this?" the leader roared, his scar deepening under the moonlight, eyes wide with shock. He struggled to rise, his layer 4 aura weakened but still fierce. Kill the kid now. No more of his tricks. 2 bandits charged, their weapons a sword and a chain flashing with deadly intent. The first, a wiry man with a serpent tattoo, lashed his chain like a whip, aiming to ensnare Ashen. The second, a muscular woman wielding dual swords, slashed downward with brutal force. Ashen moved, his body lightened by the ignition of the mortal furnace. He dodged with fluid grace, like a breeze weaving through trees. His fist, ablaze with crimson forge energy, struck the woman's chest, hurling her into a tree with a crack of breaking bones. She groaned, ribs shattered, collapsing in a heap. The wiry bandit lunged from the side, but the crimson chains snared his legs, draining his energy until he crumpled, unconscious. His spiritual energy flowed into Ashen, his meridians pulsing with newfound power. The leader, though weakened, still stood, gripping his axe. "You're no ordinary wanderer," he growled, voice hoarse but wary. He glanced at his fallen comrades, fury blazing in his eyes. "Hand over the spatial ring, or your blood will soak this forest. We're the Black Fang crew, we've never lost to a whelp like you." Ashen grinned darkly, his eyes glinting like embers. "You think I'm easy prey? You'll regret crossing me." He sprang forward, his movements like an arrow loosed from a bow. His fist, imbued with a spark of the primal flame strike, a simple attack technique Yan Mei had taught during his meridian training, slammed into the leader's dantian, shattering his cultivation foundation with a sound like breaking glass. The bandit's spiritual energy flooded into Ashen, strengthening his meridians. The leader collapsed, eyes wide with unbearable pain, his body convulsing before going still. All 3 bandits lay defeated, alive but powerless, their auras fading like extinguished flames. Ashen's breath came in ragged gasps, but he felt stronger. The absorbed energy had enriched his spiritual furnace, preparing him for the next step. "Take their loot," Yan Mei advised. "Beast cores and spirit stones will aid the second stage meridian expansion. Don't linger, Lily's waiting, and this forest hides greater dangers. The clan comparison in Crimson Gorge City will demand all your strength." Ashen searched the bandits swiftly, his hands moving with practiced efficiency. From the leader, he retrieved 2 Shadow Fang Wolf cores, glimmering gems pulsing with primal essence, ideal for cultivation. A handful of low-grade spirit stones and a worn talisman, likely a damaged protective artifact, were tucked into their pouches. Ashen stored them in his spatial ring, its vast space still ample despite the growing horde. He returned to Lily, who peeked from behind the boulder, eyes wide with awe. "Brother, you're incredible," she exclaimed, rushing to hug him. Her small frame clung tightly, and Ashen felt her racing heartbeat. "Those red chains like living fire. You're like the heroes in Mother's stories." "That's the power of the Crimson Forge," Ashen replied, ruffling her hair. He smiled faintly, warmed by Lily's enthusiasm. "Now, let's find a safe place to rest. I'll teach you more, and we need to grow stronger before reaching Crimson Gorge City. The clan comparison, there is our chance to prove ourselves and gain resources to crush our enemies, the Lin clan, the Vex Consortium, all of them." They moved cautiously, swift wind treading softly through the trees. The moon climbed higher, illuminating a rarely traveled path. After a time, they found a small cave hidden behind a trickling waterfall, a perfect haven for the night. The waterfall flowed like a silver curtain, concealing the entrance from prying eyes. Ashen tethered Swiftwind nearby, scattering dry grass from his spatial ring, then sat cross-legged on a flat stone, clutching the beast cores. The cave was damp but cozy, the scent of fresh water mingling with earthy notes. "Yan Mei, it's time for the second stage," he said mentally. "What do I do?" "The second stage is meridian expansion," Yan Mei replied, her tone rich with ancient wisdom, guiding him like a master through a trial by fire. You'll use the beast cores and spirit stones to widen your meridians, turning streams into oceans. It will hurt more than the ignition of the mortal furnace, but your foundation will surpass others in the body refinement realm. Feed the cores into your spiritual furnace, then guide the essence to stretch your meridians. Patience is key, forcing it will ruin everything. Once complete, you'll be ready for techniques like the primal flame strike in combat. Ashen closed his eyes, entering the inner world of the Crimson Forge. The colossal furnace stood majestic, its surface etched with runes flowing like molten blood, its flames blazing like a trapped sun. He cast the beast cores into the furnace, and liquid spiritual energy erupted, flooding his meridians like waves of magma. Pain stabbed through him, as if 1,000 heated blades tore at his insides. His body trembled, muscles tensing as if they'd tear, sweat drenching his face and dripping onto the stone. But he gritted his teeth, thinking of Lily sleeping in the cave's corner, Seraphina's false smile, and Marcus Vex's mocking laughter. Every agony was a step toward vengeance. Focus on the primal manifestation body techniques pattern, Yan Mei urged, her voice a whip of encouragement. Guide the essence to widen your meridians, not just fill them. Picture your meridians like tree roots, stretching to absorb more of heaven and earth's energy. The process felt like an eternity, each second a torment threatening to break his mind. Ashen saw his meridians, once narrow streams, now swelling like rivers. The beast core's energy, purified by the Crimson Forge, transformed into primal essence, reinforcing his meridian walls, making them elastic and resilient. At its peak, the pain reached a crescendo, as if his body would burst, but he held on with iron resolve. Slowly, his meridians became vast rivers capable of holding seas of energy. When it was done, he felt a new power coursing through him, like a storm contained. He had reached the second layer of the body refinement realm, his foundation far stronger than others at his level. Minor wounds from the fight had healed completely, his body lighter and stronger. Ashen opened his eyes, his breath ragged. Dawn was breaking on the eastern horizon, golden light filtering through the trees. He glanced at Lily, who sat mimicking his meditation pose in the cave's corner, eyes closed and hands in her lap. "Your turn, little sister," he said softly. "I'll teach you the Crimson Gaze, a technique to sense spiritual energy. You may lack natural talent, but the Crimson Forge can unlock your potential. This is your first step toward cultivation. No one will call you useless again." Lily nodded eagerly, her eyes sparkling like stars. "I want to be strong like you, brother. I don't want to be a burden anymore." She closed her eyes, following Ashen's instructions to envision the world as an ocean of light. Ashen channeled a wisp of Crimson Forge energy toward her, a warm breath touching Lily's dantian, awakening her senses. The process was slow, Lily winced, sweat beading on her forehead, but she persisted. "Brother, I feel something. Like a warm breeze inside me. Is this spiritual energy?" "Good," Ashen said, his heart warming. He remembered how easily he'd begun cultivating as the clan's genius, but Lily needed patient guidance. "Keep practicing. We'll make you a cultivator someday. Maybe you can learn a simple technique from the manuals I carry. Strength isn't everything, resolve makes you unstoppable." They trained briefly, Ashen guiding Lily with care, correcting her posture and explaining the basics of heaven and earth's chi. The cave felt like a fleeting sanctuary, a moment to breathe after betrayal and flight. But the peace was fragile, the forest teemed with threats, and the journey to Crimson Gorge City stretched through perilous mountains and bandit territories. Suddenly, a sharp scream pierced the air from afar, followed by heavy footsteps. The Crimson Forge quivered, and Yan Mei whispered, "A powerful aura, body refinement realm layer 6, dragging someone likely a captive. This is no ordinary bandit, but someone tied to the Vex Consortium." Ashen peered from the cave, spotting a grey-robed figure dragging a young girl with disheveled hair. The girl, about Lily's age, had eyes full of fear yet defiance. "Help!" she cried, her voice nearly drowned by the waterfall. "I'm Xiaowu. He's going to sell me to the Vex Consortium." The name struck Ashen like lightning. Xiaowu, his childhood friend, the servant's daughter he'd once protected from bullies in the Lin clan. Rage ignited in his chest, and the crimson forge blazed brighter. "Lily, stay here," he said firmly. "I have to save her." To be continued.